gave you my body and soul.
Now that the Outlander cast and crew are finally back filming Season 6, we won't have to wait much longer for new episodes. In the meantime, we wanted to take a look at some of the best scenes that never made it into the episodes from Season 1 through 5. But if they had, they might just have changed everything.
Nice contradiction, that.
Just a quick note. If you haven't had time to catch up on all 5 seasons of Outlander, there are going to be some serious spoilers ahead.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Season 5 of Outlander brought about a ton of changes for the Fraser clan, but one of the most exciting and surprising developments was the return of young Ian, or not so young Ian, as Claire points out in this deleted scene.
I'm not sure we can call him young Ian anymore.
Clearly, Claire and Jamie are thrilled about his return, so much so that Jamie calls it a miracle. But like everything in Outlander, nothing is quite as simple as it seems. And Claire is left wondering just what secrets young Ian might be hiding.
I wonder why now.
Jamie and Roger have never had an easy relationship, with that whole mistaken identity leading to Roger being sold into slavery thing from Season 4. But finally, in Season 5, we see them bonding a little more. And this fun deleted scene would have shown just how much their relationship has changed.
It's an elegant blade.
Maybe a sword fight isn't the usual display of family bonding, but in the world of Outlander, it makes perfect sense. In Season 5, Roger goes through some serious trauma and loses his ability to speak. In this deleted scene, Brianna asks Jamie for some advice on how to get him back to his old self.
He can talk, he's just choosing not to.
We all remember how Claire and Jamie struggled to reconnect after Jamie's horrible experience with Jack Randall, so he knows exactly what she's going through, and that there's a way out.
It's easier to say.
Losing Murtagh was one of the most tragic moments from the 5th season, and we're still not sure we're quite over it. That's why we're a little sad that this scene was cut between Jamie and Lord John at Murtagh's grave. First of all, because we just can't get enough of their friendship. And seriously, because it shows how far they've come since Lord John was stationed at the prison where Jamie and Murtagh were trapped for so long.
You think of something.
Only Claire and Jamie could make a conversation about mold as romantic as any marriage proposal. And that's exactly what they do in this sadly deleted scene. Even though we know that Claire has started trying to develop penicillin,
Penicillium mold should look a bit like a paintbrush.
Jamie wasn't aware of what she was up to, and this would have given her the chance to share it with him. One of the big plot lines in Season 4 was Murtagh's fight against the cruel landlords and debt collectors, enforcing impossibly high taxes on the tenants. In this hilariously amazing deleted scene, we see Murtagh defending Marsali against 2 of these very debt collectors. It's so heartwarming because even though they aren't related by blood, Murtagh is Marsali's grandfather by choice.
We are in agreement.
We love young Ian and his half-wolf best friend, Rollo. So we were excited to see this deleted scene, which shows just how the two first met. Even though he means well, young Ian does have a habit of getting in a little over his head. But when he sees the adorable and mistreated Rollo, he knows he has to try and take him home.
Come in.
It may be the cutest thing to have ever happened on Outlander.
What do you think of that for a name?
When Jamie had to give up his son, William, it was one of the most heartbreaking decisions he has ever had to make. But something that made it a little better was knowing that the boy would be taken in by Lord John and give him a good life. In this deleted scene, we get to see what a good father Lord John is.
Yes.
And how his love for William goes beyond simply doing a favor for Jamie.
I'm gone.
Before John Grey became one of Jamie's best friends, he was simply a sympathetic prison guard responsible for keeping Jamie and Murtagh in jail. This powerful deleted scene shows a side of Lord John that we rarely get to see.
Tell me why you escaped!
Furious, hurt, and betrayed by Jamie's attempt to escape, and ready to punish Murtagh for it. Luckily, his true nature is kind and non-violent, and that's what wins out in the end.
Return the prisoner to his cell.
Claire has spent a lot of time patiently explaining things about the future to Jamie, and in this cutscene from their long-awaited Season 3 reunion, is one of the best.
Nice contradiction, that.
Their relationship has never been like anyone else's. And for most people, pillow talk doesn't usually involve knives and surgery, but somehow, once again, Claire and Jamie make even the most unromantic topics seem like love poems.
They try to effect healing by means of a knife.
Jamie is, without a doubt, a protector. He has sworn oaths to protect those around him and does such a good job of taking care of everyone that we sometimes forget that he can feel just as vulnerable and afraid as anyone else. This cutscene shows that perfectly and is a different side of Jaime. While we have always known that he has religious beliefs, seeing him pray for the safety of those he loves gives us a glimpse into his worries and fears. The beginning of Season 2 was rough. Jaime had just come out of his horrific experience with Jack Randall and was definitely not over the trauma of it all. Claire ultimately helped him find his way back, but the road was not an easy one, as this deleted scene shows perfectly.
Give me your hand.
Even though he wanted to move past it, this clip would have shown just how hard that can actually be.
That's nice, isn't it?
Master Raymond was one of the only real friends that Claire made in France, and this deleted scene shows just how much he cared for her.
Thank you. I could use a friend.
He clearly thinks very highly of Claire, and goes out of his way to warn her about just how dangerous Saint-Germain actually is.
Saint-Germain is not an adversary to be taken lightly.
Claire's alter ego, La Dame Blanche, has helped her strike fear into the hearts of more than one superstitious man as the seasons have gone on. But this deleted scene would have provided so much more insight into why the name scares so many people. When Fergus tells her that people believe La Dame Blanche was actually a sorceress,
La Dame Blanche est une sorcière.
we have to wonder who else might have thought the same thing.
A sorceress.
We all know that Jaime and Claire would have been amazing parents to their first child, and that Jaime has always deserved the chance to actually raise one of his babies. This cutscene that takes place before Claire loses the child shows just how tender the two are with one another.
I love you too.
And what a loving family they would have created together if they had been given the chance. It also adds a sad piece of foreshadowing when Jaime says that he wants 12 children, as we now know that he will never get that chance.
You want 12 children?
Why not?
The end of Season 2 was a hard one for Claire and Jaime, but this cutscene would have made them, and us, feel a little better. Even though they have been through so much tragedy, seeing them come back together and start to heal as a team is exactly the kind of band-aid we needed after such a hard season.
I gave you my body and soul.
All the way back in Season 1, the marriage of Claire and Jaime came about pretty abruptly and left us with a few questions, and we weren't the only ones. This deleted scene might have cleared a few things up, like why exactly it was Jaime who had to marry Claire.
If you marry an English woman, you can never be chief of Clan Mackenzie.
And it turns out that Dougal had a few ulterior motives about the whole thing from the start.
I thought that by marrying her to the lad, it would be a fine way of showing my appreciation.
After Jaime made the mistake of punishing Claire, she understandably banned him from her bedroom. While waiting to be let back in, Jaime encounters Galus in this deleted scene. While we all know how things turned out with Galus, in the end, it is interesting to see her stick up for Claire.
Don't worry, Jaime.
And also reveal that her potions can do a lot of harm if she wishes them to.
He doesn't do much laboring in any position.
If we had it our way, they wouldn't cut a single moment from Outlander. What about you? Let us know how you feel about these amazing deleted scenes in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe to keep up with the latest from The Things.